Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Safe Room, a survival horror game club podcast. I'm Grace, and with me, as always, is my co-host. It's Rose.
Hello. I'm getting injections into my brain. Make me stronger.
Well, maybe it represents your inner strength. You ever think about that?
No.
The things you pull on to... Did you not get this dialogue at the end of the game?
The sexy nurse in my brain.
Yeah, where she's like, I come to you when you need inner strength. I represent the power within you. You didn't get that?
No. Also, there is no explanation for her.
No, there isn't. I really thought there was going to be. But,
yeah, no.
No,
What's going on? What's going on in Sebastian's head?
I don't know.
What unpure thoughts? You know.
Yeah, it's like we talked about this while we were playing, but that stuff with the nurse is hornier at this time for like no apparent reason, and there's no like costume change. It's just like a tonal thing. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why that is.
Yeah, I don't know. The evil within to what's with the nurse?
What's with the nurse? Because I don't really remember what her deal is like in... Because I guess I always assumed she like worked at Beacon in the first game. But I don't actually know if that's the case. Like, I don't remember if it says something about that. You know?
Yeah. It looks like she might... We have some theory crafting around this.
Okay.
It looks like...
All right, hit me.
A manifestation of STEM itself.
Okay, sure. Okay.
I guess.
Well, but okay, so here's my question about that. Because it is confirmed in this video game that if you are a psychopath, you're stronger inside STEM. Like there's a direct relationship between you being good in STEM and being able to like change the world and do stuff, and like your, and obviously I'm big air quotes over all of this, right? But like that's the language the game is using. So if that's the incarnation of STEM, like, does she have agency to make that not be the case? Why is she helping the guy trying to fix it? Mm-hmm. These are my questions.
Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. Can I run something about old Sebastian by you?
Sure.
Okay, so Sebastian, to me, so pre his daughter supposedly dying and his wife leaving him, he's like Chad Dale Cooper. Okay. And then during the events of the game, when he's bearded and stuff, he looks like if Adam Scott was Chris Prattified, or like Jim from The Office-ified, like made that turn from being in a comedic thing to being an action star.
Oh my god. He's Jack Reacher?
Yeah, but like
I guess.
I like mentioned that it's like he kind of looks like Adam Scott to me, and then the whole time Em and I were playing it where we were like, yeah, he does. Like, what's up with that? But he doesn't look like Adam Scott beardless. It's just the beard, or like the design
of the beard.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. But yeah, if they ever option an Evil Within movie, they gotta give Adam Scott a call. I'm sure he would be so excited to advance his career in the way his colleagues have. Yeah, shall we talk about this video game, or is there any other buffoonery you want to get up to?
I guess so. Yeah, Evil Within 2.
It is wild how much more comprehensible the plot is in this. They really took the notes, the studio notes, and we're like, okay.
Well, Mikami's not even directing it this time.
Yeah, he's like executive producer, I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What happens in this game?
So, I feel like the end of the last game maybe gets retconned a little bit, or anyway. So the game opens with Sebastian drinking it up and hanging out. And then Kidman from the last game shows up and is like, hey, it turns out your daughter, you know, the one that died in a big fire, she is alive. She is like the core of a new stem that the Illuminati, called Mobius in this game, but the Illuminati have built, and something has gone wrong, and like we've sent people in to try and fix it, but they've not all come back, and so we need you to go rescue her. So yeah, I mean, he goes into STEM. It's pretty clear there's fucked up stuff happening. There's like a new version of the evil girl from the first game, but she's like multiple corpses sewed together with the big like, what is it, like mechanized saw blade. Mm-hmm. And there's like a freaky faggy artist guy who is, you know, taking pictures of people dying and stuff. And so at first he's like pursuing this artist, who like mentions somebody else who's like, you know, that he was maybe working for in the past, but it's like, oh, but now that I like have, you know, if I get access to the core, I can like change the world or whatever. So you kill him. And then it turns out that like, Kidman was like part of a conspiracy to kill everyone in Mobius and stop STEM and rescue, Lily, who's his daughter, from STEM. And Myra, Sebastian's ex-wife, was like going to take over as the core and then basically like hit a kill switch because like every Mobius member has like a chip implanted in their brain that is for interfacing with STEM. And so if you like override the thing and like you can like electrocute everybody or whatever. And the other guy who was involved was like the head of recruitment of like getting people into STEM, who's like this cult leader of the church from the first game. Mm-hmm. And he's trying to get Sebastian to join him so he can take over Lily and like do all this stuff. I don't know if it's super important. Like a bunch of stuff happens. They fight. Sebastian kills him. Sebastian goes after Myra, who's been transformed by STEM into a goop creature. And then he kills her, but she's still alive because it was like, I guess, just purging the evil STEM stuff. But she's like, I have to stay behind and make sure the kill switch goes off so that Lily will be safe when she leaves. And so I'm going to die, but you can be safe with Lily. And Kidman on the other side, like, you know, sets everything up. And so everyone in Mobius dies. Lily and Sebastian escape. But then in the post-credits, the machine, STEM, turns back on. And that's the video game, basically. Mm-hmm. Is there anything there that I missed that you think is very important to foreground right now?
No.
Yeah.
Other than we get the most random needle drop at the end of the game.
Oh yeah.
What's the name of that song?
Ordinary World?
Yeah. There's like two versions of Ordinary World sung by Lily, I guess?
I guess. Uh-huh.
Just play as her riding into the sunset.
Yeah, I really can't tell you what's going on there.
I really like this game. I think the story is boring as shit.
I agree with you. I do think it's like weirdly well executed. And so there were some moments where I was like, oh, this is kind of hitting for me, but it is boring. It's like the most like post 2012 video game story that you could possibly imagine. You know.
Yeah. Very boilerplate. I gotta save my daughter. Story imaginable.
Yeah, there's even when you kill the like big zombie that Myra turns into, you get an achievement that's like did what you had to do to save your daughter. And it's like, yeah, I think they play. I could tell you guys played The Last of Us, didn't you? Like, okay, like, yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, the back third of this game, you wake up from being in Evil Within one world into being in The Last of Us.
Yes, yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
But I like playing it a lot.
Yeah. Well, I think. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you go.
I think I think maybe we could talk through like what the big changes are from one, because it's pretty similar in terms of like basic formula. But there's crafting in this. First of all, was there crafting in the first?
There was crafting in the first one.
Okay, I like didn't remember that. I guess I feel like I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, do I have memory problems because I had COVID like a year and a half ago? Who could say? Love this world we live in. But yeah, there's crafting still, and it's semi-open world-ish. I mean, it's more like I actually would compare it more to like BioShock, right? It's like open levels for like the first kind of 2 areas, and then it kind of siphons back into like the linear track of the first game, more or less. And yeah, are there any big changes? You still got that crossbow, you know?
Yeah, I think the changes are mostly structural. I think there's a mix of like linear levels, and then in between those you have these like open areas that are kind of where like some of the more experimental gameplay stuff is in this one. A lot of the open world stuff is also in Ghostwire Tokyo. So this is very much like proto that game.
Oh yeah,
in a lot of ways. And yeah, I really like all the open world stuff. I think all like going to a place and getting a bespoke spook is like cool.
Yeah, no, it's good when you like go when you're like, okay, so you have this I guess this is also the other thing, you have like a radio, like a codec, and then you can like pick up signals on it, and sometimes it'll be like, oh, there's a little like story event, or there's like a little or like, you know, this is the way you need to go to like advance the main story, or it'll be like, here's like a pouch so you can hold more ammo, or here's, you know, whatever, stuff like that. And so often, like that first area especially, you'll like go to get the pouch, you'll pick it up, and then like, you know, something will appear that you'll have to fight or something. And so having these little tiny encounters that are like kind of sharply designed, that are just about like that little scare is cool. Yeah.
Did you do all of the ghost stuff, side stuff?
I did do that. Yeah, I did all that.
That stuff is sick.
Yeah.
I like when you go into a house and you just get spooked by a ghost.
Yeah.
and then if you don't do that encounter, you just never see that ghost in the open world.
Really?
But if you do that side mission, you get fucking haunted in the open world by the stupid ghost. And it's cool as shit.
Yeah, it's really cool. Well, and it's some spirit of the Beacon, of like his stuff in Beacon that he shoots himself to integrate.
So I didn't finish this quest line when I played it the first time.
Oh yeah.
So doing that and then finishing that part off and going back into Beacon, and you see like Sebastian from the first game, and I'm like under my breath, I'm like, shoot him, and then you shoot him. I'm like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, it's so good. It's good. Yeah, I'm trying to think if I have. I do. I'm trying to think if I have more like open world related stuff. I also think it's nice like it plays well into resource management, partially because you know that like, okay, if I go try to get this thing, there's going to be like a scare, and so having to like interface with the system of like, okay, I have like this much bullets and I want to get more by going to this thing, but it's possible that if I go to this thing, I'm going to like trigger an encounter, and will I have enough stuff? Will it be like worth it to do that? And the game eventually like kind of phases that calculus out entirely as it becomes like action set pieces. But I think that first little bit is like cool. And I also think that arc of it moving from the sort of broader stuff into, because I think like, I don't know this, but I think eventually I would have been like, okay, I feel a little bit done with like walking around these big empty spaces and stuff. Like I think it works partially because it's a little bit spare there and doesn't like, that's not the whole game, you know?
Yeah, I did kind of get fed up with it when you, that like last section where the city's like falling apart and like the enemies are just like super hard. I'm just like, I'm gonna turn on the one shot kill and just power through this.
Right. Yeah.
I'm really tired of this.
Did you get the flamethrower?
I don't remember if I repaired it.
Yeah,
or not.
I did, and that ended up being really helpful a little bit later on. But
yeah, I think this game it has the open world problem of like everything you do contributes to you being able to like level up and stuff.
Right.
But that means that like the first like hour or two of this game is like super unforgiving. Just trying to do anything. I had bumped down the difficulty when I first started playing. And then I got like maybe a quarter of the way through, and then I was like, shit, like I'm realizing like getting like stuff is negating the difficulty of this game like by a lot.
Yeah.
So I just eventually like restarted and then just like leveled up and then played it on like the survivable difficulty and had a decent time with it. But yeah, the first like hour or so where you like have no resources and you haven't leveled up your guy enough and you just like die in like a hit or two, that sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks so bad.
Well, like it does the idea is like you lean on the stealth, which is like, I think is not bad by any means, but is like a little imprecise for an open environment, right? Like I think it's perfect for the kind of like little set piece stuff, like all those ghost encounters that we were talking about earlier, where okay, it's like if I get got by this lady, I'm gonna die, and so there's no, there's no way to interface except be stealthy and sometimes run. And I think that stuff works really well because it's like a tight environment. Although there's some trial and error that I thought was a little annoying in a couple of those encounters. But like I think any time where it's like, okay, I have to interface with stealth where I can, and it's like a tight environment. But sometimes when it's like, oh, it's kind of a big area, like I think it just doesn't quite work. Like it doesn't feel like you have quite enough tools to like interface with the world in a way that is going to like enable you to do things stealthily,
Yeah, I guess. It gets better if you like upgrade all the stealth stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Which in fairness, I did like half of those upgrades. I really went in on health and recovery.
Yeah, I went on stealth because I just realized that was the primary mode they wanted to. This is a Metal Gear game. This game is like secretly a Metal Gear Solid game somehow. Where like you're hiding behind cover and like Metal Gear like 4 and 5 like specifically you're like hiding behind cover and like sneaking up behind guys and taking them out. You can get like a fucking silenced pistol to take out guys so other enemies can't hear you. And And so I just like put a lot of the resources in like taking down enemies quickly. So like all the combat stuff and then all the stealth stuff, like making it harder for enemies to hear me approaching and stuff like that. And it is just one of those games
Yeah.
in a way that was very funny. Even like the level design, takes from Metal Gear, just like the way that they have rooms where there's cover and guys are interspersed throughout the level doing their cycles, and you do your stealth kills while you're moving between the spaces. It's Metal Gear.
Yeah, it really is. Well, it's even like you get all your weapons and stuff in the game world, right? Like you don't come the whole first like hour or half hour or so, the opening is just like you have nothing, and it's just like kind of like Layers of Fear-y haunted house stuff, right? And then you get a gun, and then like you start building out your like arsenal of stuff. So it has very much that arc to it that Metal Gear has, right? Where it's like you don't come in with a bunch of tools, you get tools as you go. And that's like an additional function of like, obviously in this game you do level up, like you get your green gel from fallen enemies and you level up your stuff. But like another way the game gives you stuff is just that like you get tools, you get weapons and stuff.
Speaking of, do you want to talk about all the stuff with the artist?
Yeah. I guess what did you think about this? I don't know if I have like a...
They watched Hannibal and then put it in the game.
Yeah.
Is more or less what it is.
Yeah, I think it's... Oh, go ahead, sorry.
No, you just start this game and you are just randomly transported into this like artist mansion where like he's killing people and making it displays of art. And he's very queer-coded, and it's very weird. It's very strange, because the game just has nothing to do with the actual video game, The Evil Within 2. But this character
it's like
dominates. He's like
in terms of
but he dominates like the first like half of this game until you kill him. So yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, he's just like an incidental player. That is like he got let in because the program is apparently terrible at identifying people who would be appropriate to put into STEM. And and so he's using it as like a playground to create grotesque art. Some of which is cool, by the way. Like that first like kind of, I don't know, corpse sculpture that's like the dress and the hands coming out of the floor and stuff. I was like, yeah, it's pretty cool. Maybe we should let this guy cook, He's
entering his crimson period.
Yes, he's entering his crimson period. Yeah, there's a part where that whole theater sequence, which is like the final set piece with him, is so deranged because you go in and he has like in the theater, there's all these people tied up, like wearing black hoods over their face, or not wearing, like forcibly wearing. And he's like talking about like how cool his art is and how like in this world he doesn't have to put up with those dumb critics who don't understand him and all this kind of stuff. And then it's like Picasso had his blue period, I'm in my crimson period. And then he like blows up the heads of everyone in the auditorium and like freezes time, and so he's like, oh, it's a bouquet of blood. And that's kind of his vibe. That's the kind of stuff he's into, I guess.
Yeah,
it's pretty silly. It's pretty goofy.
Yeah, I feel like I liked the like horror funhouse stuff less so this time.
Yeah, me too, for sure.
Part of it is like we played Alan Wake 2, which is like so much better at doing that than this.
Yeah.
This is Alan Wake 2 is just like really elaborate set pieces, FMV implemented throughout, and then this is like we put some red curtains and a chevron floor. It's like, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I
But
do.
it's all right. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think it is like, I think this is the thing where I felt a little bit dazzled by the Evil Within ones, like, where I was just like, this is such a well-crafted game. And the first first 2/3 of it, like most of the game is just so razor sharp in terms of design. And I was playing this and I was more like, oh, this is really competent. Like, this is very, like, it's almost workman-like, right? Mm-hmm. And it's kind of hard to complain about that, like, it is good and it is well done. And there's some stuff in this, I think, like, the set piece of the last, like, half hour, 45 minutes is legitimately very cool. But, so...
Are you what specifically are you talking? Are you talking about like the cut between Kidman and Sebastian?
That is what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's sick as hell.
Yeah, that stuff
Near
is
Automata, eat your heart out. It's so cool. Yeah, that whole sequence is cool. I also I like the boss fight with Liam as he's like transformed into the flamethrower man. Because it's like
I like O'Neill. He's such a piece of shit. I love him.
Yeah, no, he's a good character.
He's probably my favorite of the Mobius members you run into.
Yeah, because the other thing is that you keep running into Mobius members who like help you out and then die, basically.
Basically. And then there's the one guy who like tries to go through a back door and like disappears into the tub.
Yeah,
and then you're just like, I got. And then you like read an audio log and it's like there's a 1 in 4 chance that you'd actually make it if you did this backdoor method.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
I thought that was going to come back in a big way where it was like that they have to use that method to get out, like him and Lily, and then they're like, oh, we're back home and like things are cool and good, but they're really just at a deeper level of STEM. Like I thought it was going to Inception.
Yeah. I didn't do that. Yeah, I didn't do that side quest when I played it the first time, so doing this I'm like, wait, there's a back door, what are you talking about? and then that reveal, I like that it's like not something that's followed up on, because it's like it's a really good plot beat otherwise.
It's just haunting. Yeah, I like some of the like corporate decay stuff is good. Like you can find like some files that are like, oh yeah, like these zombies are just appearing and we don't know why. And it's like 1/20th of the population of STEM is now like corrupted or whatever. And that's like, I just think that's like, it's like, well, why didn't you realize that something was wrong? Like, why didn't you do anything? But also just that idea of like, oh, I'm in this like idyllic American small town, and like a fifth of the people I know are just disappearing is like a kind of, it's like haunting in a way that the game doesn't manage usually, right?
Yeah, I mean, and then the other side of that is like the people who are trapped in like the like religious kind of nightmare zone.
Yeah,
like you get like there's a few audio logs that are just like, I want to go home to the fake world that Mobius set up for me,
right? Yeah, totally.
And that stuff's cool too.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the name of the town. Union. Yeah.
I love their Braintree logo too. It's so silly. What do you think about? I'm forgetting the preacher's name.
Theodore Wallace.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, what do you think of Theodore? What's your beat on him?
He's fine. I like using him as an excuse to explore the aesthetics of the first game again.
Yeah.
Especially you get like a pretty much a boss rush from enemies of the first game.
Oh, that part's so cool.
It is really cool. Yeah, and just basically remembering how to do all of those bosses again was really cool.
Yeah.
I'm the stuff towards the end where like the people who are now like corrupted by Mobius were actually trying to like get Lily out of Mobius, and it just kind of went as bad as it could possibly go.
Yeah.
That stuff's pretty cool conceptually. Yeah, Theodore is interesting in that we mentioned like Mobius being like this place being like the true sickos thrive in this like world.
Yeah.
And so it would make sense that like this like really charismatic like cult leader guy would just control everyone. I think that part's really cool.
Yeah.
O'Neill like turning like makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like
it's
that
cool.
stuff. And I even kind of like I'm forgetting her name, but the like team psychologist kind of becoming radicalized over the course of beating her.
Hoffman.
Is it Hoffman?
Yukiko Hoffman.
Yes, that is correct. Yeah.
I
was
remember
thinking
this
of
because
Yukiko.
They
and I was
joke
like,
about her being the team psychologist like a billion times.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is happening?
Well, it's also so because they brought like one of the. I think this is also a cool dynamic, is that they brought in a bunch of people who are like tech specialists and like psychologists and like people who are not.
They fucking annihilationed it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and so it's like they're not prepared to handle like what is going on, and then as soon as like the Mobius security people like figure it out. They're like, oh, we should just kill all the civilians to prevent them from turning and like build our like little, you know, like military enclave or whatever. And then that also goes terribly, right? Like that, all that stuff falling apart, I think is cool. Yeah.
I really like, I mentioned O'Neill earlier, but I really like within the first 5 minutes, because you're one of like your submissions is like finding all the Mobius members that went missing, and like within the first like 5 seconds you come across the team leader being dead.
Yeah.
And then you tell O'Neill, and O'Neill's like, yeah, that sounds about right. And then Sebastian's like, that's pretty cold, O'Neill. And O'Neill's like, look, I'm not saying I'm glad he's dead. I'm just saying it makes a lot of sense that he's dead.
It's true. It does make sense. O'Neill, you're right. Oh, did you also get? I'm forgetting the guy who goes through the back door method's name. Did you get that little like race joke that's in there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, his name is Sykes.
Yeah. Well, because
because Sebastian is like, how did someone like you end up here? And he's just like, well, what do you mean by that?
Yeah. And Sebastian's like, oh, like you're cool and sick.
You're like, he's like, you have a backbone unlike everyone else here.
Yeah, it's so funny. But he asked that to like all the Mobius members, though. He's like,
yeah, he does. It's like, you're a fucking dork. How are you in here?
Yeah.
Except for Esmeralda, who once again wakes up and is shooting zombies immediately.
Yeah, I was also like, I feel like this is filled out with like side characters from the Resident Evil movies.
Yeah.
Because like there's a character who's kind of like Sykes in, not really exactly, but kind of like in Resident Evil, I forget what the second one's called. And then like, you just said her name, but I completely forgot it. But she's
Which
kind
one?
of the Michelle Rodriguez character, Esmeralda. Yeah. So
Rodriguez character.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think it's like, it's just a little weird, I guess. I don't think I have like a take on it exactly, but I guess I'm just flagging that, putting a little pin in it. Sorry, go ahead.
I do like the reveal that Esmeralda is the one that stole Lily.
That is good. Yeah.
Orchestrated that thing. That's cool.
Yeah.
I think there's just not enough for me. There wasn't enough. Like, I don't care about Lily or Sebastian. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
There's not a good sense of what their relationship was like at all.
No, he's just like a good dad, and that's all you get, really. Yeah. Right. And like,
even the stuff with what's the wife's name?
Myra.
Myra. The stuff with Myra is just like, yeah, you're a great husband.
Yeah, I
I'm
do.
like, cool.
I like the stuff where, because part of it is that Theodore can like play on people's fears and doubts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so like the middle third, or like the kind of like third, fourth of the game is like Sebastian tried to come to grips with like his guilt and shame over, because part of it is that Myra was immediately like, something is up. Like, I think Lily was kidnapped. I don't think she's dead. And Sebastian's like, we have to try and get over this together. Like, you saying this stuff is not gonna bring her back. Like, we have to try and figure out how to move forward. And Myra's like, well, I just have to go in. And so, you know, he didn't believe her. And that in some ways like kicks off all the events of this game, right? Mm-hmm. And so him trying to like come to terms with that and like free himself of his shame and guilt about that. I think that's the emotional thread in the game that does more or less just land for me. But I think that's also, that gets time to breathe and be emotive in a way that like his relationship with Lily doesn't. Like, I think there is kind of like a general assumption in media sometimes that it's like, if there's a family, I'm going to care about them. And I just don't, I think you do have to sell the relationship, you know?
Yeah. I did not care. Like the ending where they just like drive off into the sunset. I'm like, cool. I still have no idea what this like dynamic is. They also skirt right past Myra dying.
Yeah, I know.
Don't deal with that emotionally at all. You get Kidman gives her a doll of Myra, which is the worst gift you can get someone. That's like my dog dying and then someone gave me a plush of my doll a day after. It's like, dude, chill out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I do. Well, I guess I don't know. I don't think there's going to be an Evil Within 3. I guess I don't know how well this game did, but like I would suspect not. And that's the thing, is that ending, you could do a game that's like, oh, Myra's still trapped in there and Kidman has to get her back, or like whatever. Like the room is open for like any sort of sequel premise you could imagine, basically. But it's also not like it's resolved enough that, you know, there's no reason to go back. Like, it's not a cliffhanger, right?
Yeah, it's very neatly tied up.
Yeah.
They fucking kill everybody in Mobius, you know?
Yeah. Everybody fucking dies. I was like, you know, I guess I'm glad that Kidman makes it out, because for a little bit I was like, is there going to be a woman who lives in this game?
Yeah.
Final girl, just final man. Go ahead, sorry.
No, there was like two wolves inside of me. Like, I remember her making it, but there was like a moment towards the end where I was like, did I misremember that? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's, I do. I really like that sequence at the end, just because it's like, I mean, I just am a sicko, I guess, for this, when there's like intercuts between gameplay stuff in a game. I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever. People should do this. Cool. Then it is cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I think give Kidman so much more to do in this game that I like.
Yeah.
They also made her way more hot for some reason, but okay.
Yeah.
Understood, I guess.
Yeah, her character design is different. I think it's weird because I feel like her character design is less horny, but I think you're right. She is hotter.
Yeah.
You know,
did you get
works.
all of the slides?
I missed one because I think I picked it up and then respawned and forgot to grab it again.
Okay.
You know.
So let me see how you feel about this.
Okay, hit me up with it.
When you get all the slides, you go back to your mind palace, whatever, and the cat, Kidman's cat, like leads you to like the chair, and the nurse is like, "There's one memory you've been avoiding this whole time," and you pick up the last slide and you put it on the thing, and it's a picture of Joseph. And you call Kidman about it, and Kidman's like, "Yeah, Joseph's alive." And it's like, what? What are you talking about?
What? I like
not elaborated upon at all.
That's so. What happens with Joseph in the first game?
He dies. He dies in Mobius. Yeah.
He dies in.
Kidman shoots him.
Oh yeah.
But and then Sebastian was like, "I can't forgive you for what you did to Joseph." And Kidman's like, so I know this is gonna suck, but like he's alive." It's like, dog, what? Also, was he killed when everybody in Mobius gets killed? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, wow, that's bizarre.
Yeah, it's very silly. Every single thing in the first game has been retconned in some way.
Yeah, well, I think it's such a weird, like, because I like the stuff. I mean, not that it's like super effective, but I like the thing where it's like, oh, the events of the first game are like haunting him still, you know? And like, I think that like makes sense, but that's not, it doesn't really work in any other way besides that. Like, especially like you can play this game and completely understand everything that happens in it, more or less, and not have played the first one at all. Like it's very uncontingent on it. So
yeah, it feels like a soft reboot almost.
Yeah, for sure. Which like kind of makes sense, but also is like whatever. Like I like the first game, you know, and I think it's even like it's weird to say because I think in some ways this is like more competent narratively, but I do kind of miss the like freakish, like I do not know what is occurring stuff in one. Like I think that is pretty, like it's just I think yeah, like I think we talked a little about how like the level design is not quite as sharp for, it's more consistent is the trade-off, right? Like this is a game that I think stays good all the way through in a way that Evil Within is just not, right? But I do think that like the haunted house stuff in one is just so good, and it doesn't quite hit those highs ever. I think.
Yeah, way more consistent. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Definitely got that feeling as well.
I guess, should we talk about Myra? That boss fight is so goofy.
It's so... I forgot about that. When she turned into a boss, I was like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I really wish this... You should do it. It should be Metal Gear, and it should be like the boss battle in Metal Gear Solid 3. Like, it's someone who's like equivalent to your abilities and stuff. Like, emphasize that parallel, you know. Do that. She just turns into like a big zombie that has like glowing weak points, and that's, you know, that's it. And I also, I don't really love the like grotesque feminine stuff with her, right? Where she's like transformed by her like motherhood and becomes monstrous. Sucks. Like, yeah, this is bad.
I'm like, the only one who can protect her.
Yeah, well, it's like, Sebastian's fatherhood is always ennobling and inspiring and like good, right? And her motherhood is like, I mean, necessitates that she die, first of all, and then is also like made monstrous and stuff. It's just, it's like uncomfortable and boring and sexist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, are there any other moments that stuck out to you that you really liked? I really thought that first person segment was going to happen again. But there's like a first person segment of this game that just like happens once and then
That's funny. I'm reading the fandom wiki on this, and people just like modded it into like the full game, and so Tango just went in and like cleaned up like the gun reload animations and stuff, and then just put it in the game.
Oh, really?
People were like Yeah, this first person mode is used once, and
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot that they added that in. That's cool.
yeah, but it is really silly that they just did it once and never again.
Yeah.
I wonder if they just cut some stuff and then that was just like left over.
Yeah. Well, also, I mean, I kind of like it, just as like I like it when a game does something interesting and weird and is willing to just let that lie and not elaborate on it, you know? And it is also, yeah, I think I don't know. One of the feelings I got of like satisfaction playing this is I kind of like it when I play like a Japanese developed game that is clearly taking a lot of cues from, you know, like obviously we talked about The Last of Us. There's some layers, there's some like blooper team stuff in here, kind of in terms of formula. There's like that section is a little bit Amnesia even, right? And there's also like it's an open world and there's crafting and like all this stuff, right? And I also kind of feel like it shows up all those games, like it's kind of better than all the, and I get kind of a perverse satisfaction out of that. I don't really know where that comes from, but I'm just like, yeah, like
it is the part where they you mentioned like this game is confident, like they just made the game.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. Well, it's also like because like I do not like crafting in video games, and this also just doesn't bother. Like in this game, it's fine.
It's so light.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's
just
like,
about. It's just about you can pick up resources that you can turn into multiple things. Yeah. Go ahead.
And it's very readable. Like, you know, like as soon as you pick up like an object, you're just like, yeah, I can make like some bullets with this, and you just kind of do it, and then you move on. You know.
Yeah.
Not very complicated.
Yeah. Which I think, like, I don't know, maybe there's some crafting sickos out there, I'm sure, you know?
Well, they're all playing Power World, so
yeah, I guess
they're not listening to this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's like Factoria people, you know, or Factorio, which I kind of respect Factorio. I don't think I'm ever gonna play that, but like I see the appeal of it.
Yeah, I have some gripes about like broader way this game handles difficulty, I guess. Because this game has like a new game plus, but you can't increase the difficulty once you've lowered it.
Oh, yeah.
And that goes for like a new save file. So like I can't go in with my new stuff that I got and like play it on like the highest difficulty.
Yeah.
Which is really negates the purpose of that mode for me.
Right.
And then this game has so much unskippable cutscenes that I don't know why you would do New Game Plus to begin with.
Yeah, I was thinking about that part where you're in like the Ash world at the end and you get all the like Mobius flashes of like what happened just before everything fell apart, you know? And it's like, yeah, you can't skip any of that. Like it's such a long.
Yeah. I mean, even the opening, like all of the like stuff with the house, you have to go through that stuff again.
Yeah.
You have to do all the mansion stuff with the artist. You have to do like the slow motion, or not slow motion, but like those walking as you're talking on the walkie-talkie and stuff.
Yeah.
There's so much you can't skip in this game, and it's a little ridiculous that they didn't like implement like, hey, just skip this part. Get to the game part.
And I guess maybe it's like, oh, you can revisit it after a few months or whatever. But yeah, like I think for that, like I don't know. I'm part of me's like, I kind of want a new game plus both Evil Within 1 and this, but I don't know if that's ever actually going to happen. So.
Yeah, one would be easier just because it's so gameplay heavy.
Yeah, for sure.
But this one is very like, yeah, a lot of cutscenes, and I don't know if it was like a technological barrier or something, but like, just let me skip stuff. I don't get it.
Yeah, for real. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I don't know if I have. I'm trying to think through like stuff that I want to shout out. Do you have like a favorite area um in the game or like level that you want to shout out?
Um, Not really. I mean, the open areas I really like, except for like the last one where it's just
Yeah.
annoying.
Yeah, I kind of just ran through those. I mean, I did end up like I did fight 2 flamethrower guys to get their tanks and get the flamethrower.
Yeah.
Did you get from? Although there's like an achievement for like stealing it from Liam or O'Neill before you get the
Oh.
like before the boss fight starts or something. And I don't know if that's real, but I mean it must be, or there must be. I might be misinterpreting what the achievement text is, but I was like, ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, yeah, we talked a little bit about, I think in the Evil Within episode, like how this has kind of an immersive sim quality, and that's just only going up here. Like, and that's Metal Gear to some degree, right? Too. So, and I think, yeah, I think if you like the first game, or even if you were like, oh, like the first game sounded interesting to me, but like there's a few things that Grayson was talked about that are like big hangups for me, maybe give this a go. Because it's definitely got, the highs are not as high, but the lows are not as low. Oh, also, it's sick when you cut the Chainsaw Man in half in that sequence. That's good as hell.
It's good.
Yeah, I guess also I was like, again, it didn't like blow me away. But there's some like flashier cutscene stuff in here, or like little moments that I liked. Like I like Kidman when she's like interfacing with STEM, and the like evil Mobius man is like standing above him, and the light is all back, so it's like just a silhouette, right? There are some like little kind of like composition touches in this game that I thought were nice, right? Which is like rare for me to say about a video game, I think so. Yeah.
This game, I'm just gonna do like some stray thoughts, I guess. I play this on Series X, and you can uncap the frame rate, so it just runs at 4K 60, and it's great. I love that. Love it so much.
Yeah.
Love when games are at 60 frames a second, and those cutscenes look so good. What else? I like the O'Neill boss fight.
Yeah.
I think that's probably my favorite boss fight of the game.
For sure, me too, definitely. I think also that's just like a creepy design.
Yeah, I like when he takes the thing off and he's got a fucked up Revan face underneath.
Yeah.
Mostly I just like it because it incorporates a thing that I feel like this game doesn't do often enough, which is like using the environment to dispose of the boss and stuff.
Yeah.
Which was more of a thing in the first game and not so much in this one.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I also, I just like the, like, I don't know, because there's like a light stealth component with that boss battle. Because, like, you can kind of get out of his sight, because it's like a couple rooms or 3 or 4 rooms that you're fighting him across. And then, like, the sensation of not knowing where he is and then just seeing, like, the glow from a room over of his flamethrower, like, that is really nice to me.
I wish this game did more of Sebastian being sad. We only really get that towards the end when everybody is dying, I guess.
Yeah.
I feel like if the first half of this game was less about Sebastian being stoic, it would have landed a lot more, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think there is kind of a like, I don't know, he's trying to like believe that she is alive, and I don't know, like, but yeah, it just doesn't sell super well. I wish there was more like, I just wish we got a better sense of what they were like as a family. Like, we get one scene where it's like the before, and maybe it's a nightmare or something. I don't quite remember. Where it's like them having breakfast together or whatever. Then yeah, but again, I think that I'm a little warmer on that stuff than you, just because I think it it has some competence that I think it all functions, it all works and clicks together, right? In a way that can be impressive for a video game story to do. Okay, should we do questions? Do we have
one
else?
more thing. I love that. I love that everybody in Mobius dies and you see the fucking big bad brains blow out. It's good.
Yeah.
You love to see it.
Oh, it's good. Yeah, the gore in this game is good. Generally speaking, like we were talking about the cutting the guy in two, that is gnarly in a good way. The Mobius people getting their brains blown out and bleeding from their every hole on their face and stuff is yeah, it's good. It's good stuff.
It's classic.
Yeah, I love to see that. Okay.
I like the weird I don't remember what they're. Oh, okay. A couple more things.
Yeah, keep going. No, please.
The monster that has the milk texture, I guess. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I can't remember if that was Ruvik related or not, because it definitely calls back to that a little bit.
Isn't it that it's part of Myra's deal?
You're right, it is.
Because she's she's Gwyneth Paltrow. She's Goop.
The amount of hours that I spent doing the stupid mini games.
Me fucking too. I meant to bring that up. Yeah, my God.
Just the shooting gallery one is pretty easy. The match 3 puzzle one sucks. I hate it because you do perfectly fine, and then everybody's just you fucking suck. That one that sucked ass. I'm what do you want me to do?
Yeah, I did. I spent that last. Also, because I had aim assist turned off playing a lot of this game. And then in the final boss fight with Myra, I was I'm turning aim assist on. I'm so done.
Yeah.
But so I did. Yeah. So that that very hard shooting gallery was tough.
Yeah.
But I did do it. I got it.
Yeah. I think once I had the machine gun, assault rifle, I just went back and did that and just got it very easily. The puzzle one I didn't fully complete because it was just annoying.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, because they just have the blocks that fucking seal off all the other colors, and it's just a nightmare.
Yeah.
Hate it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Stuff is annoying. Well, then it keeps adding additional colors too.
Yeah, but it's oddly satisfying to shoot them.
It is. It's good. It feels good to do all the things.
It feels good to do. It just sucks.
Yeah. I like getting the little braids that shake, that give you extra time and stuff. Yeah. It is so. My favorite one of getting told that you suck is her being you deserve a round of applause for that. I'm sure someone out there will provide that for you.
I like the one that's just listen, it's just me in here. It's okay.
Yes, yeah. Well, that's the thing is it's that stuff is weirdly horny to me. It's you had erectile dysfunction. She's it's okay. It's just me. We don't have to tell anybody else. I don't know what's going on with them.
Man, it is like that though.
Yeah. All right, are we good to go to questions? I don't think I'm clean out. I think you brought up the last thing that I was going to bring up and forgot.
Sebastian yells disappointed if you do bad.
Oh yeah, there's all those fucking memes. Because he's like, she's like, you're the best around, and he's like,
I forgot about that. Oh my god, shut up.
Yeah, did you get the dialogue where he's talking with O'Neill and is like, evil within too, and they both turn to the camera? I've seen that clipped on Twitter.
I am aware of that. I didn't get it this time.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah.
But I do know that line.
All right. So we've got a question from Emrys that says, horror games, while being a genre, also cover a gamut of traditional video game styles and genres. Obviously, most styles of games can make an effective horror game, but some tend to be utilized more often than others. What design decisions tend to make more appealing, effective horror games to you? Do you want to just go through these one by one and talk about them, or should I list them all off and then we can sort of do general taste discussions?
Let's do the latter.
Okay. So yeah, it's like first versus third person camera, combat versus no combat, linear versus open environments, if it has like survival hoarding elements, and stealth. And Emrys says personally, visual novels are the most successful style of game at evoking horror or dread. And I think it's interesting. I really am under visual novel literate. Like, that's really an area that I'm not super familiar with.
Mm-hmm. And before you send in your emails, we do have some on the docket for this year.
Yes, we do. We do.
So don't worry. Don't worry about it. We're addressing that.
We're doing
don't
the
worry
damn
about
thing.
it. I really think it depends on the game.
Yeah, that's like a boring answer, but that is my answer too, I think.
Yeah, it is so, because like the past few games we've played are really combat heavy, but are pretty good at like giving you tension within like the combat to make it more tense. But there are plenty of games where you are powerless and can't do anything, or like parts of those games where you are powerless and can't do anything.
Yeah. I mean, I think generally speaking, I guess I would like to play Amnesia, I guess, at some point and get a sense of like what that is like. Because that's really the game that popularized like the idea that you don't have power, you know? And I think that that's interesting. But like generally speaking, I think I am kind of pro combat as like an orienting thing. And maybe this is just like post Silent Hill, where I think like the combat in Silent Hill does something for me thematically that I think like, yeah, like technically you could take it out and the game would still be pretty similar and you could still do puzzles and have it be scary and all that stuff, you know? But I think it does work in a particular way. I'd be curious about like playing like Soma, for example, where everyone I've ever heard talk about that game is be like, yeah, I should just take the monsters out. It doesn't matter, you know?
That's mostly because there's a bunch of stuff to read, and once you put monsters in the game, you can't.
Yeah,
it just gets in the way of like the stuff that you're trying to do.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. I think it is interesting
for that game. I feel like that tension is still there, just in terms of like navigating the space and still getting spooked. You're still getting scares and stuff. It's just like you're not gonna get killed trying to like read an audio log, you know?
Yeah, for sure. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, because I do think sometimes also like I feel I'm not saying that combat should not be in Alan Wake, but it does feel the most tertiary I think it's ever been in any Remedy game, right? In terms of like things the game is interested in and about, right? Is like the last hour there's like hardly any combat at all, right? And that's not, I don't think that's a bad choice at all, but I think it is like, I think sometimes it can be there because that is like the expectation of what you're supposed to do in a video game, or like you have to have monsters, right? You have to have this stuff. And sometimes you don't, and it is good to think about like what assumptions am I bringing in from the genre that I'm working in that actually like don't apply or don't need to be there, right? But I also think it's good, like, just in terms of having to go into the dark basement and then you have to like be competent and do stuff. I think it's just nice. It's a formula for creating tension that I think often works, but yeah.
Yeah, but then you have Anatomy, which is probably the scariest game we've played for this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you don't need it.
You don't do shit in that game, Yeah,
you just get eaten. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm also I like linear stuff also, generally speaking, I think more, but that's also just like, I think the thing that's tough is just that open things are hard to intentionally design. And to create like a specific like arc and feeling. Can I go off about Tears of the Kingdom for a second?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, because like I think there's a great piece on developer Melos Hantani's Substack, I think, and they developed like co-developed Anodyne 2 and Symphony and stuff, and they were just talking about how like I don't think Nintendo will ever make a game like Ocarina of Time again, and it's not really because it's easy to duplicate Ocarina of Time, and there's a lot of games that do it. But it's more that like there's a particular like arrangement of things that create a feeling and a mood, and even like the order of puzzles and how that stuff breaks down is like key to that. And so it's not just a matter of like, oh, I have all the features and I have like the aesthetic, but it's like this very particular like arc and relationship that you have to it, right? And I think that's something that like even from Breath of the Wild to Tears of the Kingdom, like Tears of the Kingdom doesn't really have. Like I love in Breath of the Wild, and I wrote about this, the like finding the pictures and getting a sense of the world, and then having through that device, the whole world becomes this thing that's suffused with memory, and you can find, places from earlier games and things like that have these echoes of previous things that are now all in ruin. I think that it creates this like emotional landscape that Tears of the Kingdom just does not have. Like there's just no sort of like, and it tries it like to pull the heartstrings in a way, but it's not as integrated. And so I just think it's harder to do in an open environment. And that is not me saying you can't do it. But I just think it helps when you have like, when it's step by step and you can sort of frame things emotionally in a specific way. And that's why like Ocarina of Time works in a way and is emotional in a way that like the more recent Zelda output isn't exactly. Right? Like I would never want an open world Silent Hill. And maybe it would be good, and maybe I'm wrong, right? But I don't know what that would look like or be, and I don't want it,
Sorry, did you see that Molly tweet of the fucking Horizon Zero Dawn boss?
Oh, I saw it. I didn't watch the video of the...
Oh, it's just Aloy scaling a big, like, monster thing. Mm-hmm. It's like, it is very much like one of the divine beasts of Breath of the Wild. Uh-huh. But Aloy won't shut the fuck up while she's climbing this thing. I'm just thinking about that. It doesn't have anything to do with anything.
Yeah. It is rough that this is glib, and I think often it is good to have people who can actually writing your video game. I think there are many examples where this is a good thing. But also, like, Halo 3 is more interesting and better written than any post-Halo, which is all written by, like, writers. And I think part of it is that when it is sparser and when it is, like, more contained and even, like, a little bit more sanctimonious, like, I think that stuff can just, like, work better. And, like, I just don't know why you need to, like... more writing is not better,
Mm-hmm.
And I just think there is like a creation of like feature pipelines and stuff that like incentivizes like there being this kind of plethora of stuff, you know, in a way that I don't care for. Like I think a lot of video games are overwritten, you know. But
we didn't talk about this when we did Alan Wake 2, which is crazy because that podcast is 3 hours.
yeah.
How did you feel about the poem? They turned your friends will meet them when you're gone, and they turned that into like a Fire Walk with Me poem.
Oh yeah. I think it's cool. Like I don't know if I have like a take on it. I'm just like, yeah, it's pretty sick, right? Like
right.
Your friends will meet you when they're gone. I think that's like, yeah, that's like one of the most evocative things that ever in a Remedy game, right? And like even in video games more broadly, it's just cool. If you have a contrary take, I'm interested to hear it. I'm not trying to shut you off there.
No, I just think it's part of me is like, why do they have to bring it back? And then another part of me is like, I don't know. If I was a writer, I'd try to flex on that too, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
for sure.
Know.
Yeah, no, I got you completely. Yeah.
We have one more email from Jen. Jen says, since let me try this again. Since Shinji Mikami left Tango Gameworks, there's been a lot of discussion about whether the studio can continue on as is. However, I was really impressed by John Johannes' work as director on both Evil Within 2 and Hi-Fi Rush, even though both games are vastly different. For their next project, would you like to see Tango Gameworks tackle another horror game like Evil Within 2, or is Hi-Fi Rush more your speed?
I mean, you've played Hi-Fi Rush, right?
Yeah, it's really good. It has the same problems that this game does, where the writing kind of sucks, and I forgot about it because of it.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Even though the game, like playing the game, is like really fucking good.
Yeah, so I have it downloaded, but I haven't touched it. So I can't quite answer like, would I like more Hi-Fi Rush stuff? But I guess I would say like, I think this is a super talented studio that could make like whatever kind of action game they want to, and it would probably be pretty good. I say, having not played Tokyo
Ghostwire Tokyo.
Ghostwire Tokyo, yeah. But I'm kind of want to go through it. I kind of want to go through their catalog. There's not that, it's just 2 more games.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm just interested in what they're cooking, And so I feel very like open to whatever is next in the pipeline for them. And just hope that it's not too like, I don't know. I guess, well, I don't know how much the Microsoft problem is that they're too hands-off or too hands-on, and maybe it depends on the studio. Because it was like
it's just going to depend. If there's still a fucking studio by the end of the year, we'll see.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the other thing is, yeah.
I would probably like them to do both. Because I do like when they make horror games. But I also would like them to make whatever they want. So
yeah.
I think there's a good middle ground you can do.
Yeah, for sure. No, I would love another horror game from them. And, probably not the Evil Within 3, but they can do, but also I'll sign up for that. Like I would be interested, still.
Yeah. I just like when they did the Hi-Fi Rush reveal, and Shinji Mikami was like, if people think this is scary, I'm fucked.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, well, I think that's it for talk about the Evil Within 2.
Yeah.
That's good. Next time we're covering well, I guess we're covering Her Story and Immortality from Half Mermaid Games, although I think Her Story predates Half Mermaid.
Mm-hmm.
But Sam Barlow stuff. Yeah, I'm interested.
It's so funny that they announce new stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
Right before this. And one of those things is something that we're both probably really excited for, which is a Michael Let's game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, crazy.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how it goes. I'm very curious because I think Immortality is one of the games that my friend group is also different circles, right, is most divided on. I have friends who really like this game. I have friends who fucking hate this game. And so I just am trying to be open-hearted, open-minded about the whole thing. And I think it'll also be good. I think after playing Lane, this will be a good supplement to that episode. I think it'll be good stuff, and we'll see how it rolls.
Yeah. Also, it's going to be February, which is going to be a little bit shorter. Not my butch because it's a leap year, but her story's an hour and a half long, and Immortality is, it's longer because you're watching video and stuff, but
right.
And there's also a thing in the game that you have to solve really before you're able to beat it, I guess.
Yeah.
So that one's a little bit longer, but yeah, nice. It's gonna be a nice light month, and I'm excited to talk about these games.
Yeah, and it'll be nice after doing 2 survival horror games to kind of take a step back from that, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, shall we plug our things?
Plugs. Yeah.
So yeah, we're hosted on the Admiral Mapping Network. You can find our Twitter at Podcast Safe Room. We have a Discord, which you can find at spookygame.club, our official website link. We also have a Patreon. You can give us money. Sub to our Patreon at patreon.com/thesaferoom. We just debuted a new show called Closet Crit, which is about reading theory and philosophy and probably also talking about movies. That's me and my friend Sophie Blair, musician and writer and cool person. Do you want to plug your show as well? And then we also do Found Footage, which is about movies. Together,
we do Found Footage, which is about movies, and then we also do Handheld Talk, which is the polar opposite of Closet Crit, where me and Amr talk about handheld video games and video games more broadly in a very casual discussion.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's good stuff. And yeah, you can email us questions at spookygame.club. I'm on Twitter at Grace_machine and other social medias at some configuration of Grace. Some it's Grace.machine. Some it's Grace Machine. Stuff like that. You can find me if you look for me. How about you, Rose?
You can find me on Twitter at BluestRose430.
Okay. Well, yeah. Thanks for listening in. Stay out of STEM.
I'm glad they're expanding their reach. There's more queer people in STEM now.
Yeah, that was Emma and I were both howling when when Yukiko keeps being like, I feel so bad about how many people I put into STEM. Girls Who Code really went dark. Anyway. But yeah, thanks for catching us, and we'll see you next time.
Came in from a rain And as I try to make my way to the ordinary world, I will learn to survive. Passion or coincidence once prompted you to say, pride will tear us both apart. Well, now pride's gone out the window, crossed the rooftops, run away, left me in the vacuum of my heart. What is happening to me? Crazy, some say. Where is my friend when I need you most? But I won't cry for yesterday. There's an ordinary world somehow I have to find. And as I try to make my way to the ordinary world, I will learn to survive. Papers in the roadside tell of suffering and grief. Fear today, forgot tomorrow. Ooh, here beside